The sun was soft on the small farming planet of Riona 3. Golden fields waved in the wind. People lived simple lives, planting, working, loving. One of them was a young alien mother named Lena. She had wide violet eyes, soft green skin, and a gentle voice. But her heart was heavy. Her son, Ril, was only 7 when he disappeared. That day started like every other. Ril helped her in the field, laughing, running through the tall crops. He wore a small necklace she had made, just string and a shiny rock he found by the river. "This is my power stone," he would say. Lena would smile and nod, brushing his hair gently. "Keep it close, my brave boy." But then the sky screamed. Dark ships appeared suddenly, dropping metal beasts and soldiers with glowing eyes. Raiders. They weren't here for peace. They came for supplies and slaves. The colony alarms rang too late. Lena had grabbed Ril's hand and ran. People were screaming. Fires burned in the distance. Explosions shook the ground. She pushed Ril into a storage unit near the field. "Stay here," she said, kissing his forehead. "Don't move. I'll come back." She ran to help the others. She screamed for help. But when she returned, the door was open. Ril was gone. She searched for hours, days, weeks. Soldiers came. Investigators. 2. They found nothing. Some said Ril was taken. Others said he was dead. But no one knew for sure. And time moved on. But Lena didn single quotes T.5 years later. Lena still lived on Riona 3. The colony was rebuilt. People laughed again. Children played, but not her. She still waited. She still watched. Every night she lit a small lamp in the window, in case he came back. His necklace she had made another hung from her neck. And every morning she prayed. Everyone called her the Lost Mother. Some pitied her. Others avoided her. But one morning, a human ship landed on the edge of town. A warship. Unusual. No humans had come here in years. Their wars had pulled them away. Most aliens didn't trust them anymore. But Lena felt something strange that day. A chill in the air. A whisper in the wind. At the colony gate stood a tall man in dark armor. His helmet was off. His face had scars. His hair was short and messy. And in his hand, he held something. A child's necklace. Lena's heart stopped. Stepped forward slowly. "Where did you get that?" she asked, her voice shaking. The human looked at her. His voice was low and calm. "From a boy, a brave one." Lena took a step closer. "What was his name?" The human hesitated. Then he said, "He didn't say much, but he held this necklace like his life depended on it. He said his mother made it, and that she'd find him someday." Tears filled Lena's eyes. "Where is he?" she asked. The human looked down. "Still trapped, somewhere deep in a war zone. I found him while chasing raiders. I couldn't get him out then. I barely made it out myself, but I made him a promise." He looked her in the eye. "I told him I'd come back." Lena touched her necklace. Her legs shook. She had dreamed of this moment, but now that it was real, it hurt more than she imagined. "No one believed me," she whispered. "They said he was gone." The human nodded. "Most children taken by slavers don't make it, but this one did. He's smart, quiet, still hopes." Lena took a breath. "Are you going back?" "Yes," the soldier said. "I leave tomorrow. But this time, I'm not coming back without him." That night, Lena sat by her window, holding the old necklace. She thought of Ril, his voice, his laugh, the way he hugged her tightly before bed. She imagined him cold, scared, waiting, somewhere out there. He was still alive, and one human, just one, was willing to walk through war to bring him home. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Please bring my boy back." Asterisk the next morning. The colony felt different. The sky was quiet. Birds flew low. And at the edge of the training field, the human soldier named Jack was preparing for something dangerous. He checked his gear alone. No other soldiers joined him. He wasn't part of a team anymore. This mission rescuing a lost alien boy was personal. Lena stood nearby, watching from a distance. She had barely slept. Her hands trembled as she held the new necklace. One Rill used to wear. Her heart was heavy, but for the first time in years. It beat with hope. She slowly walked toward Jack. "Why are you doing this?" she asked softly. "You could leave. No one would blame you." Jack didn't stop checking his weapons. "Because I gave my word." Lena stepped closer. "You don't even know me." "I don't have to," Jack replied. "I saw his eyes. That boy never stopped believing in you." She looked down, fighting tears. "He was always brave. He said he wanted to be a star pilot. I used to tell him he could touch the sky." Jack gave a small smile. "He still wants that." Lena reached into her satchel. She pulled out a worn, folded paper a drawing Rill made when he was 5. It showed a stick figure holding a starship, with "Me and Mom in Space" written in childish writing. She handed it to Jack. "If you find him, show him this." Jack took it carefully. His hand, rough from war, now held something soft and sacred. His eyes studied it, and then his face changed. "I've seen this," he said, voice tight. "He showed it to me. He kept it hidden in his boot." Lena's breath caught. Jack looked at her again. "I told him he'd see you again. I won't break that promise." Later, in the town square, people gathered. Most were unsure why the human had returned. Some still didn't trust his kind. But whispers spread fast. He's going back for a child. Old farmers, young workers, even the colony guards watched as Jack loaded his shuttle. A few shook their heads. "It's suicide. That place is dead space now." Others muttered, "Why risk your life for one boy?" But Lena stood tall. "He's not just a boy," she said loudly. "He's my son." Jack looked over his shoulder. "And he's still waiting." The shuttle roared to life. Dust flew across the fields. Lena stood with her hand over her heart. Jack looked down at the drawing one last time, before placing it safely in his armor pocket. Before leaving, he spoke through the speaker. "I can't promise I'll come back." Lena nodded. "But you will." He gave a small nod. "I've never walked away from a promise." Then the shuttle lifted off, rising into the pink morning sky, heading toward a place no one dared to go, somewhere far away. In a dark, ruined city controlled by slavers and mercenaries, Rill sat in silence. Older now, thinner, but still alive. He clutched the broken necklace in one hand, and in the other, a dirty paper with a child's drawing. A young alien beside him whispered, "You really think someone's coming?" Rill didn't speak at first. Then he looked up. "Yes," he said. He promised. The shuttle entered deep space, moving fast through broken star routes and silent sectors. Captain Jack sat alone in the cockpit. His eyes were sharp, but tired. Ahead was a dead zone, uncharted territory, filled with wrecks, pirate traps, and old war scars. The galaxy had forgotten this place, but Jack hadn't. His ship, the Emberlight, wasn't big or beautiful, but it was fast and silent. Perfect for one mission: reach the child and bring him home. He touched the control panel and opened a small case. Inside it was Rill's drawing, folded and worn. Jack stared at it quietly. He remembered the boy's face, dirty, tired, but full of stubborn hope. "I'm coming, kid," he whispered. "Just hold on." The dead zone wasn't empty. As the Emberlight reached the outer orbit of the ruined world below, Jack spotted movement: 2 old pirate ships circling like wolves. Their signals were off. No codes, no flags, just silence. Jack didn't hesitate. He shut off all lights and dropped the ship into stealth glide. No engines, no heat. Just gravity pulling him closer to the broken city below. He passed over massive wreckage ships buried into the ground like giant bones. Fires still burned in some corners. This place had no law, no safety. It was a ghost town ruled by violence. Jack's ship touched down in a crater near the city's edge. Outside, the wind howled through broken towers. No stars shined above. Only smoke. Jack stepped out wearing light combat gear. No flashy armor. Just speed, sensors, and sharp eyes. In one hand, he carried a silent weapon. In the other, he held Rill's drawing, folded in his chest, pocket close to his heart. He moved fast, slipping through ruins like a shadow. His boots made no sound. His breath stayed low. Every corner could be a trap. He passed by signs of horror shackles still hanging from walls, crates filled with stolen tech, and symbols painted by slaver gangs. Jack had seen places like this before. He hated them all. His visor picked up heat signatures, a group of children, locked in an old factory underground. One figure was smaller than the rest. Jack whispered, "Gotcha." But before he reached the stairs, a voice echoed through the ruin. "Looking for someone?" "Soldier?" Jack spun, aiming his weapon. A tall alien stood in the shadows. Yellow eyes, 2 long blades. Warlord tattoos on his face. A slaver captain. "I remember you," the alien said with a sneer. "You came here once before, left bleeding." Jack didn't reply. "I wondered why you'd risk your life for one boy," the alien continued. "But I get it now. You humans, you get soft sometimes." Jack stepped forward, slow and steady. "You don't understand," he said coldly. "That boy believed in someone, and that someone was me." The alien laughed. "You'll die here, human." Jack smirked. "Maybe. But I'll die walking forward." The fight was quick. The alien charged. Blades flashed, but Jack was faster. He dropped low, dodged, and struck with a sharp blow to the slaver's side. One hit, one fall. The warlord collapsed, gasping. Jack didn't stop to watch. He ran into the building, heart pounding, down the dark stairs, past rusted doors. He found them. 7 children, eyes wide. Thin, silent. Isle was in the corner. Older now, 10 years old. But he still held the necklace, just a piece of string now, tied around his wrist. Jack didn't say anything. He slowly pulled out the drawing. Rill's eyes widened. He stood, shaky at first, then ran forward. "You came." "Back," he whispered. Jack smiled. "I said I would, didn't I?" But outside, danger still waited. Pirates had noticed the landing. Jack turned to the other children. "We move now. No sound, no lights. Follow me." Rill nodded. "Like you taught me." Jack looked at him. "You remembered?" The boy gave a tired smile. "You're hard to forget." Jack led the children through the dark hallways of the ruined factory. Every step echoed. The walls were cold. The floor cracked beneath their feet. Will stayed close to him, never letting go of the back of Jack's jacket. The other children were scared, shaking, silent, but they followed. They trusted the man who came from nowhere, who fought like lightning and spoke like stone. Up ahead, an old cargo door stood half open. Jack crouched and motioned them to stop. "Wait here," he whispered. He moved forward and peered outside. Moonlight fell on the yard. There were 3 armed guards, pirates walking in circles. No way to sneak. Past. Jack turned back and looked at the kids. They were weak, no armor, no weapons. One child limped. Another looked sick. He had 2 options: hide again or fight. He looked at Rill. "Do you trust me?" Rill nodded instantly. Jack pulled out a small map and handed it to him. "There's an old tunnel behind that broken wall. You can fit through it. It leads to the river. Follow the light markers. I'll draw the guards away." Rill looked afraid. "But you'll be alone." Jack gave him a half-smile. "I'm used to it." "No," Rill said suddenly. "Take me with you. You need to get them out," Jack replied gently. "You're strong, stronger than you know." Rill looked down. The old necklace on his wrist swayed as his hand shook. Then he took a deep breath and nodded. Jack stood up, stepped into the open, and whistled. The guards turned. Too late. Jack moved like fire. One guard fell before he could scream. Another tried to raise his blaster, but Jack rolled, kicked, and knocked him cold. The last one ran, but Jack didn't chase. He ran back to the wall. The kids were already crawling through the broken tunnel. Rill looked back one last time. Jack gave him a thumbs dash up. Double quotes run, soldier. The tunnel was tight and dark. Mud clung to their skin. The air smelled old, but Rill led them without stopping. He remembered what Jack taught him during the short escape. Don't look back. Breathe slow, move fast. A young girl behind him whispered, "Are we going to make it?" "Yes," Rill said. "He's buying us time." Back at the factory, more slavers arrived. Jack stood tall, blood on his knuckles. 10 pirates, maybe more, but Jack wasn't afraid. He stepped onto a broken container and pointed at them. "You've already lost," he said. One pirate laughed. "There's only one of you." Jack smiled. "That's one too many." The fight exploded. Blades, fire, dust, but Jack didn't fall. Rill and the children reached the river tunnel exit. A small human beacon blinked in the mud. Jack had left it there. A rescue drone hovered above, sent from Jack's ship. It lowered ropes. Rill helped lift the others. When his turn came, he looked back at the tunnel. Still no sign of Jack. He clutched his necklace and whispered, "Please be okay." The drone flew toward the ship, hidden in the forest beyond the ridge. Inside, an autopilot welcomed them. Escape mode engaged. "Welcome, passengers." The kids huddled together. The girl from earlier held Rill's hand. "Your human friend?" "He's like a hero." Rill shook his head. "No." He looked at the folded drawing in his pocket. "He's just a man who kept his promise." Far behind them, the ground shook. A small explosion burst from the factory. Slavers ran. Flames lit the night. A figure limped from the smoke, bruised, bloodied, but alive. Jack. He looked at the burning building and then toward the stars. Time to go home. Asterisk. The ship shook as it lifted from the forest floor. Inside, Rill and the other children sat in silence, holding on to safety belts, blinking at the soft lights of the emberlight. For most of them, it was the first time they'd seen comfort in years. Rill wasn't calm. His hands clenched the armrest. Jack wasn't on board. The rescue drone hovered near the controls, scanning the area. "Pilot signal. Not detected," it said. "Rescue incomplete." Rill stood up. "We have to go back." A small boy grabbed his hand. "No, don't. What if the bad men find us again?" Rill looked down at the boy. "He came back for us. I won't leave him." On the ground, Jack limped across the burning yard. His arm was wounded, his leg dragging slightly. But his mind stayed sharp. He'd set explosives to delay the slavers, and it worked. Smoke rose behind him. Lights glowed in the sky above. The emberlight was flying. Good. He smiled through blood-stained lips. They're safe. Then he heard a sound. Hoverbikes. 5 pirates were racing toward him through the rubble, shouting in their alien tongue. One of them had a shock spear. Another raised a plasma rifle. Jack raised his arm and fired a flare into the air. in the ship above. The beacon flashed red. Emergency signal from surface. Pilot is under attack. Rill's heart dropped. He didn't wait. He ran to the manual. Hatch hit the emergency ladder control and dropped down before anyone could stop him. The other kids shouted, but it was too late. He was already sliding down the rope. Jack crouched behind a broken wall, nearly out of energy cells. He could hear the pirates closing in, boots hitting stone. He checked his sidearm, just one shot left. Suddenly, a small voice shouted from above, "Jack!" He looked up. Rill was running toward him, holding a metal rod he'd grabbed from the ship. He looked ridiculous, thin arms, dirty face, but brave like a soldier. "What are you doing here?" Jack growled. "Saving you!" Rill shouted, out of breath. Jack shook his head. "You're insane." "Just like you," Rill smiled. The pirates surrounded them. One laughed. "This is the mighty human warrior, dragged down by a child?" Jack whispered, "You ready?" Rill nodded. "Let's make some noise." The fight was messy. Jack moved with deadly precision, kicking the spear from one pirate, smashing another into the wall. Rill dodged and swung the metal rod, hitting a guard's knee, giving Jack the opening he needed. That one pirate grabbed Rill, but the boy bit his hand and screamed, "Let me go." Jack threw a stun charge, grabbed Rill, and rolled them behind a fuel tank just as it exploded, taking two pirates with it. Above, the ship circled back. The kids had taken control of the drone system. "Lower the ladder." One child yelled, "We're not leaving without them." Another cried. The ladder dropped. Jack, half carrying Rill, ran across the burning yard as bullets and plasma shots flew past. He reached the ladder and threw Rill onto it first. "Climb." Jack shouted. Our aisle went up fast. Then Jack grabbed the rope. A pirate aimed from below, but just as he fired, the drone dropped a blast shield, blocking the shot. The ship rose higher and higher, pulling them up into the smoke-filled sky. Inside the ship, the children pulled them in. Jack fell to the floor, panting, his chest rising and falling. Rill knelt beside him, face full of worry. Jack opened one eye and groaned. "You really are insane," he said weakly. Rill grinned. "I learned from the best." That night, the stars shined again. The ember light flew quietly through the black, far from the war, far from the slavers. The kids were finally safe. Jack sat in the pilot's chair, arm bandaged, body sore. Rill stood beside him. "Why did you come back?" Jack asked. Rill looked at him. "Because you never left me." Jack chuckled softly. "Guess we're even now." Rill pulled out the folded paper, the drawing. "Do you still have it?" Jack nodded and touched his pocket. "Never let it go." Far ahead, on the edge of the screen, the coordinates for Riona 3 blinked. Home. Asterisk. The ship broke through the clouds of Riona 3. At sunrise. Golden light touched the green fields below, the same fields where Lena had once run with her son. Before, everything changed. Down in the colony, people looked up. Some pointed, others whispered. Human ships were rare. This one was old, scarred, but it flew steady and straight. It carried something no one expected. Inside, Rill pressed his face to the glass. His eyes widened. "I remember that river. And that field," he said. Jack, still bruised and tired, sat beside him. "You ready?" Rill didn't speak. He only nodded. His hand clutched the necklace tightly, the one that had never left him. The ember light landed softly just outside the town. A crowd gathered at the edge of the colony. Everyone stood still, unsure what they were seeing. Then the ramp dropped. Smoke hissed from the landing gear. And one by one, the children stepped out, faces thin, eyes wide, but alive. Gasps filled the air. Then came a whisper. "The lost children." They're back. But Lena didn't move. She stood frozen at the far end of the path, eyes locked on the ramp. And then Rill stepped out. He looked taller, thinner. His clothes were torn, but his face her breath caught. Rill? She whispered. The boy looked around. He saw her. In the moment their eyes met, he ran. Lena dropped to her knees as her son threw himself into her arms. Mom! He cried, sobbing into her shoulder. I'm home. I'm really home. She held him so tightly, afraid to ever let go again. Tears poured down her face. Her hands trembled as she touched his hair, his face, his back. My baby. My boy. I never stopped thinking about you, he whispered. Not even one day. She pulled back just enough to see his eyes. Then she looked up. Jack stood a few meters back, leaning on the ramp, quietly watching. Lena stood, holding her son's hand. She walked toward Jack, tears still in her eyes. She didn't speak at first. Then she simply said, Thank you. Jack gave a small nod. He kept me alive as much as I saved him. Lena took something from around her neck, the second necklace. She handed it to Jack. For you, she said softly. So you don't forget where he came from. Jack hesitated, then accepted it. I'll wear it with pride. The colony cheered. Families reunited. The children were brought to safety. Healers, teachers, and elders rushed forward. But Jack didn't stay for long. He returned to his ship, quietly, alone, until a small voice stopped him. Wait. Rill ran up, holding the drawing again. This is yours now, he said, placing it into Jack's hand. Jack smiled. No, kid, that dream, that's yours. He handed it back. Go live it. As the sun rose higher, the ember light lifted once more. This time, not for rescue, but for peace. Inside, Jack sat in silence, eyes on the horizon. In his chest pocket, the necklace rested over his heart, and behind him, on a small, peaceful planet, a boy held his mother's hand, safe at last. Asterisk.